Well. Welcome everybody. Hope everybody's doing good. July the 16th, the 237th edition of Speaking of Zane. How about that? 237 times. Well, man, what in the heck is going on around here? We got a good turnout going tonight. Let's see. Lori is in there. Ted's in there. Hey, Ted Drobe up in New Bern, North Carolina. My good friend Amy is in there. How you doing, Amy? Let's see. Carl and Peggy's in there from the Show Me State. And my dad's in there from about 3 hours south of here in the beautiful town of Fitzgerald, Georgia. All right. I am going to do my best to make this a very quick Speaking of Zane because I am tuckered out. That jet lag gets you on this way back. My body thinks that it's 1:30 in the morning because it is in England. And that's where I just came back from. I had a wonderful trip. Didn't do a lot of sightseeing. We got there early enough on Sunday morning that I was able to take the tube and go to the Imperial War Museum in London. I had never been there, and it was fantastic. Had a great time. When I finished with that in the morning, walked over to the river where that big Ferris wheel is. Wasn't there when we were stationed there, guys, but that big Ferris wheel thing over by the Tower Bridge, and got to see Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament and all that stuff over there. So I got to walk around a good bit on Sunday. And then once the work began on, the Eye of London, Lori's right, Eye of London, I think they call it. I didn't go up on it. But anyway, once the work started on Monday, I was rocking and rolling. We didn't get a chance really. We went out to some nice places for dinner and we hung out with our colleagues over there. Did a couple pubs around town, but didn't really do much more. I think on Friday, we were working. We didn't leave the office till 7 on Friday, 7 o'clock on Friday, trying to wrap up some things and get some things in order. And then, of course, I flew back yesterday, Saturday. But I had a flight. My flight back was supposed to be from Heathrow to JFK on Delta, because I'm a Delta Sky Miles. And then from JFK to Atlanta. There's Katie Aaron. Hey, Katie. And but I got a note on Friday night. We were having dinner, and I got a message on my phone from Delta. Hey, sorry, your flight's canceled. And I'm like, oh, sugar. We're supposed to be at 11 a.m. on Saturday. And they said, but good news is we've already booked you on the next available flight. Unfortunately, it's not with Delta. It's with British Airways. Same level of service and everything, business class. And but it didn't leave until like 4:10 or 4:15. We didn't end up leaving until almost 5 o'clock p.m. But the good news is it was a direct flight on British Airways from London to Atlanta, so I didn't have to do the JFK and then fly from there to Atlanta. And I got back right about the same time as I would have, because there was a layover in New York if I had gone that route. So everything worked out just fine. Hey, Steve Shirley, how are you and Kathy? Where are you and Kathy? You never know. Where in the heck is Steve Shirley? But I love following their travels. But yeah, so anyway, I ended up getting back to Atlanta last night. And of course, it's 5 hours ahead. On the East Coast, it's 5 hours ahead in London. So it's like 1:30 in the morning, and I'm starting to drag a little bit. And I'm on the yard today and everything. So I'm about ready to wrap it up. But had a fantastic week. Made a little side trip to Amsterdam too on Thursday. Oh, you're back home. Okay. Well, not home, but back in the States. Okay, Steve. But made a little side trip the operations director at our facility in Amsterdam, who is a Royal Dutch Navy, or I'm sorry, Royal Dutch Army veteran, invited me to come over, and I said, "Well, let me see if I can make it work." So I flew over just for the day. I took the tube from my hotel was just a block away from the nearest tube station, and I took the tube from where I was staying to the London City Airport. Did any of you ever fly out of that? It's the airport that runs. It's on the east of town, runs right along the river. In fact, when you're landing down in between buildings, right next to the river. But it's a small airport. Jets fly out of there. But anyway, so 30-minute tube ride from the hotel to London City Airport, and I have my British colleague Lauren to thank for that. She recommended it. She said, "Oh, you're just going for the day. Just go down here." So anyway, I get there. Took me 30 minutes to get there on the train, and the flight's 40 minutes. And I was in Amsterdam, and then a short little Uber ride from the terminal to our facility, which is actually right on the airport property. So it worked out well. I got there. My colleagues greeted me like I was somebody special, and took me to lunch, had a nice lunch, and then came back, got a nice tour, had three or so different meetings, met some fabulous people, working on some things. It's all about one part of the visit. It's all about our veterans employee resource group. Not Stansted, Steve. It's called London City Airport. Maybe it was that in the past. I don't know. But anyway, so, and the other part of my visit is because the whole reason I was over in London is because I've assumed responsibility for an early in career development program over there, and we're going to model it after what we've done here in the States for the last couple of years. So we're a little bit on a fact-finding mission, and kind of cool though. These young folks I'm going to be training, and me and my team are going to be training, are 18 years old. 18. So they go into an apprenticeship with us instead of going to college. It's an interesting thing. I can't wait to well, I learned a whole lot about it this week, but there's 8 of them already on board, and we did a bunch of interviewing. We got 4 more that are coming on in September, and they'll be with us for 2 years. Well, they'll be in our program for 2 years, and then they'll work with us. But anyway, so that was the whole reason I was over there. Anyway, but I'm back home safely, and got home. I got home to a couple of surprises. Lori, remember, the queen of all customized gifts, surprised me with a Father's Day gift. And in my office here, I have an adjacent full bath, and I came home, and it is an Atlanta Braves bathroom now. I mean, every single thing in the bathroom, there's even an Atlanta Braves logo on the toilet seat. But I'll post some pictures later. But I came home to a very nice surprise there with my bathroom. So I think she's just been waiting for me to be out of town for a little bit to do that. But anyway, it looks fantastic. There's Aunt Mary. Hey, Aunt Mary. Okay, yep. So I'm back safe and sound. I was actually going to head to St. Louis for a day this coming week. They've asked me to present to our group of interns in St. Louis, and I think I'm going to have one of my school teachers, Ashley, do it instead. She lives right there, and that way I won't have to make the trip. But we'll see how it goes. Okay. Again. Well, it's got an Atlanta Braves A on it. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, let's see what else is going on here. Well, I mentioned last time we were together, we were a little bit worried about Lori's car, but so far so good. Her car, they drove it around while we were gone. I put the analyzer on it again today, and played around with it. It looks like it's doing okay. I'm probably still going to take it in and get it looked at, but she still has a loaner from Everett's dad. Everett's still in Ghana. I guess he's in Ghana for another week or so. Sounds like he's having a good time. Okay, weight loss update. Weight loss update. I always get scared when I go out of town because you never know. You can't eat the diet that you eat at home. At home, I eat meat and cheese and eggs and olives, and I'm in absolute control of what I eat or what I don't eat. I fast. I usually fast for about 15 or 16 hours. But when you're out of town, you're sort of at the mercy of what's available and everything. And fortunately, when I travel, I'm not a glutton, and I don't just. I actually came back from this trip 3 pounds lighter, believe it or not, and I ate pretty good. I ate meat, um, but weight loss update: 3 more pounds lost. That puts me at 86 pounds lost. So that means I can get to 90. I need 4 more pounds. That's my new goal. 4 more pounds because I want to be able to say I've lost 90 pounds. So 3 more pounds and 86 is the total. I jumped from, that's 89, no, 83. I was at 83. Now I'm at 86. So I leapfrogged. So we'll see. We will see what's going on. Hat of the week, hat of the week, hat of the week. Ken, you haven't piped in on the hat. Daryl hadn't piped in on the hat. The hat of the week, the hat always has something to do with what the heck is going on here at the fabulous McDonald Estate and Insane Asylum. And usually you guys are able to pick out the connection. And sometimes I don't decide on the hat of the week until the last minute. And that was the case today. I went to my hat inventory and I said, well, what in the heck is the hat of the week? And for those of you that know that logo, you should be able to make the connection. And I'm stalling a little bit for one of you to pipe in there and make the connection with the 8th Air Force logo. The 8th Air Force was based where? Remember the mighty 8th? The 8th Air Force, they flew B-17s and B-24s. There you go, Facebook user. Yeah, of course, they were based in England. And that's where I spent the week. It was fantastic. Boy, so much has changed. I know Lori's been in the last couple of years, but I don't know about the rest of you guys. But you still have the classic London, which is great, but so much has changed for sure. You can tell that we're in a whole new era. But anyway, it was fun. Good thing about the subway, the tube, is everything was contactless, right? You don't have to buy tickets. You don't have to get a card. They make it so easy. You just use your debit or credit card, the near field, the NFR, I think NFC, and you just touch your card and you touch it going in. And then wherever you get out, however long it takes you or wherever, you touch it again on the way out. And it does all the calculation and super, super simple. Super simple. Yeah, London it was pretty crowded. Our office is, I forget the name of the place. Well, it's near, it's north. It's on the north side of the river, but it's sort of midway. It's not west like Heathrow, and it's not the far east. It's sort of in the middle. You can walk to London Bridge. In fact, my colleague there, as soon as we landed on Sunday, she was gone and she just walked. I think she was afraid to take the tube. I took the tube. I did a lot of walking. I got over 20,000 steps in on Sunday, but I did a lot of, I spent a lot of time on the tube. No, it's not near Parliament, Lori. I had to take the tube to get there, but it's back it's to the east of Parliament, up the river. There's another bridge. I can't remember if that's Tower Bridge and London Bridge, but we're closer. Our office is closer to London Bridge. You can walk to it. It's maybe a mile or so, but anyway. That was a lot of fun. All right, I'm good to be back, though. It's always good to be back. Always good to be home. Okay, hat of the week. Good job, guys. Hat of the week. All right. I didn't pull any this week in military history items because my schedule's a little wacky right now. But I did see a post from our friend Tim Smith. I don't know how many. I know Amy remembers Tim. But on yesterday, July 15th of 1999, I never knew this for, I don't know, it might have been, I probably didn't know this till 5 years ago, but Tim was on board a NATO AWACS plane in Greece, and they had an aborted takeoff or hit some geese or birds or something and crashed and went off the end of the runway. Plane broke in half. They were in the water. Anyway, that happened yesterday, 24 years ago, and thank goodness that Tim and the other 13 on the plane are all made it. A couple of them have passed since, but they were all survived. And my buddy Lanny Witt was over here a few months ago, and Lanny and I met for lunch with Tim, and he's still the talker that he always was, and had a really good lunch. And he's originally from Rome, Georgia. That's what he was down here for. But anyway, so that happened on July the 15th, 1999, I think it was. Okay, I know Amy and Steve remember Tim. All right, well, let's move on to the Veteran Cemetery Challenge. I know Daryl made a visit to Jefferson Barracks, Dad to Evergreen. Jim Miller made St. John's, where his wife Deb is, and his father-in-law, and Omaha National Cemetery. Now he has 4 people that he's visiting there. Corporal Dagan Page, Todd, Roy. Maybe it's just 3. Is that right, Jimbo? By the way, Jim, I hope you're doing okay. First of all, Jim had a birthday recently, didn't you, Jim? Wait a minute. Who just had a birthday? Somebody had a birthday last week. But Jim, you just had some surgery. So I'm glad that you're okay, and you keep posting your updates and everything, so we know you're okay. But I saw just a terrible byproduct of your surgery, and that's that the coffee tastes terrible to you now. So hopefully that side effect is not long lasting. Let's see, what do we got here? July 15th, 1954, first flight of the, oh, okay, the Dash 80. Yeah, the Dash 80. Okay, good call there. Yeah, is that the one that's in the Smithsonian out by the airport? Can anybody validate that one? Was that the first one? That Dash 80 that's there? I don't remember. There's my Aunt Cindy. Hey, Aunt Cindy. Good to have you in there from Alabama. Okay, Jimbo says he made 3 visits to Omaha since we were last together. So, Jim, I'm going to update our numbers to reflect that. Appreciate you telling us about those things for sure. And I'm going to add the visits. That takes us to, let's see, add 2 more. That's 7. Add 2 more here. And then I'll give you the totals here in just a second. We had a new one this week. My little brother, Brad, travels quite a bit for work. Little brother. He's 11 years younger than me, so he's coming up on 50, I guess. But he made a visit to Rhode Island Veterans Memorial Cemetery, which is a new one for us. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 visits, 1 new. That's a total of 858 visits to 176 different veterans cemeteries. Now, oh, Amy made one. Hang on, Amy. Thank you, Amy. I'm sorry. I got it. Okay. Good. So I'm going to make that 8. I don't know why I'm doing this. Nobody looks at this but me. 859 visits. 859 visits. Thank you, Amy. All right. Let's see. So, got you, Daryl. I got your visit there. I saw your post. All right. So that's pretty doggone good. You know, there is an American cemetery in London. Oh boy, now I have to look the name of it up. Maybe somebody knows. And I thought, well, okay, I'll go, but you can't just get on the tube. You had to take the train. And I just ran out of time. There was no way I was going to be able to get to it. I forget the name of it, but it's farther west of town. But still, in the area, but it's on my list. If anybody remember, starts with a B. I can't remember, Broadmoor or Broad something, but I don't really know the history of it. And that's why I looked it up and I said, well, I'm not going to read the history of it. Let me just go there and I'll read the history there, but I didn't make it. Brookwood. Well, tell me how you know that, Ken. You probably just Googled it, didn't you? Yeah, Brookwood. I even mapped it out, and it just wasn't going to work for me there. So I have to do that on a future visit. All right, let's see. I'm working on my visits. I got to build a really nice business case for my boss about what we're doing over there. And there's a chance that I'll be going back in September for a week. Maybe I'm going to try to go for a couple, but maybe a week, and probably let Lori tag along. But anyway, we'll get that sorted out. And if we can get there again, I'll definitely take in the Brookwood American Cemetery in London. There's so much that I missed while we were living there. So much I missed that I wish if I could do it all over again, it would be a totally different experience. But anywho, I said this was going to be short tonight, but I lied, of course. All right, let's see. What do we got? What do we got? So 859 visits. How about the Think a Vet Challenge? Let me tell you what I've got, and you guys can correct me along the way here. Jimbo had an Air Force gate guard. Aunt Paula had 10 at the 4th of July parade down there in Florida. So I got 10 there. My dad had one and gave a gentleman a coin, a nice thank you for serving challenge coin, a guy called Prentice Brown, served in the Army. My colleague at work, Rhoda, I work with a Rhoda, but this was, and everybody calls her Rhoda, but this was Rhonda Medlin. She thanked a Navy vet. And let's see, Ken had 2 thank yous this week. Both Navy, okay. No? Yeah, both Navy, okay. So two times Navy. Yeah, so Ken thanked a Korean War vet and a Vietnam vet in your neighborhood. What are you, living in a retirement home? Excellent. Well, we got to thank them, don't we? Okay, 2 Navy for Ken. So I'm going to add those in. Well, you're right. You know, when you're over there in your 20s, you look at things differently than you do now in your 60s. And I would do a lot of the same things because I still feel like I'm 20 on the inside. But I would do a lot of different things, many more things than I did at the time. Of course, we didn't really have a lot of money. You didn't have money to do everything you want to do, and you just didn't know. We didn't have the internet or anything like that. You had to get one of those Frommer's guides, right? That's how Lori and I did Europe, is with the Frommer's travel guide. But whole different experience these days for sure. Okay, so if I add up the thank yous, we had, well, let me add them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 16, 17. So we had 17 because I added Ken's 2. So I need to add 2 here. Oh, I forgot to mention mine. So I mentioned this guy before, but on my trip to Amsterdam, the guy who runs the operation out there was a Royal Dutch Army veteran. And so I got a chance to thank him again. And when I was in London, I got a chance to thank a veteran by proxy. One of the ladies I worked with there, Katie, her husband is a Royal Navy officer. He commands a frigate, for goodness sakes. So anyway, I met her face to face for the first time, and I gave her the coin there and a hearty thank you. So that was a lot of fun. But if I add everything up, we had what did I say? We had 17 thank yous. We're at 2,204 thank yous. Yeah, you know what, Jim? Um, I'm embarrassed to say I never went to the Cambridge American Cemetery. I know there's one there. I never went. Never went to Duxford, although we drove by it. Never went to Duxford Air Museum. But Lori's right. We did a lot, probably a lot more compared to some, but we should have done a lot more for sure. There was a lot more opportunity to do things there. But anyway, hey, can't change the past. All right. Well, that's it for the Think a Vet Challenge. Organizations. Well, we got the Running to Honor 5K coming up. It's freaking hot today. It was in the 90s today, and I was doing yard work, but it's going to be in the 90s. We'll do it in the morning, of course, but that's coming up here on the 29th, I think it is, or maybe not the 29th, 20 something. That's on Saturday. I think on that next day, Sunday, I think I'm flying to St. Louis for the week, but we'll get the 5K in. Then when I get back from St. Louis, then we got a couple of weeks to play with. We're for this Maine trip. So a lot of different things going on with the Maine trip. Well, Lori's car is one thing. We'll get that figured out. And the other is another trip to the UK, potentially right on the heels of that. So I'm trying to wedge in what's possible and this, that, and the other. But we're committed to making that trip. Let's see what else. My Warriors Place. So hey, listen to this. So far, you guys know that what Kelly's doing at My Warriors Place. Ken, I want to make sure you know all about this in case you want to come down. But on August 26th is she's holding a ceremony or a God, what is she calling it? I'll post the flyer in the Speaking of Zane Facebook group, but she's invited all of the family members of the 13 that were killed in the withdrawal from Afghanistan. I told you guys about that. Well, there's a family of Marine Corps Lance Corporal Espinoza, I think it is. Yeah, David Espinoza, who was killed. His family wasn't going to be able to make it, and it's the wife and a couple children. And anyway, the total need for that family was about $2,500 if you added everything up. And I managed to raise it, not me, through the kindness of some of my partners, but I orchestrated it. I've got about half of it coming from one organization, half of it coming from another. So, and of course, my company gave them some, but it looks like that family is going to be able to make it down there and enjoy the retreat and enjoy the honoring of their loved one. But anyway, so I'm happy for that. I haven't given up yet on raising some more. I've got some other things in the works there, but that's good news. And that's about it on the organizations. If you guys are involved or know of any organization, pipe up and we'll get them on the list here. Okay, yeah, there's a flyer. I just got the updated flyer. She actually has a retired brigadier general, Army brigadier general, I think is going to be the keynote speaker. I don't really know that much about it. I don't know everything about it, but I know enough, to be involved in the capacity that we have. But anyway, so I'll post that just so you guys can see, what the whole thing's about. Okay, that is it that is it. I'm going to drag my ragged butt to bed. I hope you guys have a good week. I'm back home for a couple of weeks, like I said. Get a whole bunch of stuff done, and then we have some travel. But we'll try to give you guys plenty of heads up on speaking of Zane, whether we have it or not have it, or whatever the case may be. But I appreciate you guys coming in here and listening to me ramble. I did a fair amount of rambling tonight, if you didn't notice. But anyway, good to have you guys in here. This is therapy for me, and you guys are my therapists. So thank you for that. By the way, Lori's writing a book. So stay tuned for that. It ought to be good. But have a great week, everybody. We'll look forward to seeing you next week for Speaking of Zane, and already looking forward to it. Cheers, everybody.